Longtime Northwest Portland co-op closes doors and angers customers. What do we got going in Portland? We have yet another store in Portland closing, a longtime food co-op. It's been there 50 years. 50 years. And in 2023, not so much. Now they are citing financial issues. To me, along with everything else that's gone on with this portion of Portland, you've got the 5-finger discount taking profits out of the front, right out the front door, just walking right out. You probably got some security issues. You got all kinds of stuff going on. You don't have enough foot traffic. You've got just this litany of things in a downtown core, and especially in Portland right now, that are going the wrong direction. And we're going to cover them all. Let's jump on in. Let's find out what's going on with the Food Front Co-op after 50 years closing. Here we go. Longtime staple in Northwest Portland just closed its doors, citing financial issues. Is that what we always seem to cite? Financial issues. It's not you, it's us. We can't make a profit. That's all we're going to say. The move comes just after the Food Front Co-op celebrated 50 years of serving the community, the neighborhood. The closure of Food Front comes after its board of directors announced financial troubles as well as layoffs in recent weeks. Because we are reasonable here, we're going to go with, there could have been some internal issues, profitability. Not all of these store closures are 100% because of safety concerns, because of security concerns. Unlike some of the stores that have come right out and said that in Portland, some of them percentage-wise are just going to be because their business model maybe no longer works. Their product maybe no longer works. But we're seeing so many businesses, business after business after business after business in these sections of Portland. And this is to the north and west of Old Town. It's still in the downtown core for sure. It's nearby other businesses that are closing left and right. We know it's in a tough area. It's been a tough area. You've got the walking zombies walking around. You got people on the fentanyl. You got people selling stolen goods. You got people breaking into stores. You've got all of that component that we've come to know as just, most bigger West Coast cities. You've got that going on. So you've got another example of a longtime business that maybe it was just the pandemic. Maybe it was all the stuff that came from the pandemic. You had, especially in the food industry, you had supply chain issues. You had wage issues, trying to get people to work. You've got all these different things. And any which way you look at it in Portland, you've got all those layers. And then you throw on top, a whole bunch of your stuff is walking out the front door, because that's happening in every store. It's not just isolated. It's not just the Walmarts. It's not. It's all stores. Because if a store is open, it's fair game to be shoplifted from. Organized retail theft come in, scoop out all their stuff, go on, sell their stuff, get their next drugs. That's what you've got going on. That is what's consistently happening. And unfortunately, food co-op, it bites the dust as well. The closure of Food Front comes after its board of directors announced financial troubles as well as layoffs in recent weeks. They're trying to keep the party rolling. That's not working out. They finally got to this point where they're like, we're done. On Monday, there was shock and sadness from customers and employees outside the store. On the co-op's website, it was announced the store would close at noon on Monday. But when Fox 12 arrived at 11 a.m., the store was already closing up. Stop the bleeding. That is what they are doing. You know what? We'd love to serve you longer here at this location, but it's no longer economically viable due to our own internal, the way we've got things set up. Payroll, food costs, supply chain, rent. One of the things that people, always try and school me on is, hey, Sean, Mayor Ted doesn't really care about tax revenue from these businesses because there's no sales tax in Oregon. Well, that's a sales tax to the consumer. Businesses pay B&O tax. They pay a state B&O tax. They pay a number of different taxes that when a business leaves in an environment like Oregon, it hurts the tax revenue because tax revenue has to come somewhere to fund the city, right? It's not coming from sales tax, but it's coming from a lot of other taxes that are more onerous than probably what you're experiencing if you live anywhere outside of maybe New York City. New York City, with its more upper end tax structure, it rivals Portland's mid-tier tax structures as far as income tax goes. So even a city like Portland or a state like Oregon that doesn't have a sales tax, they're going to get you and they're going to tax you. If you're a business, trust me, there are multiple taxes that go into running the city. So each one of these businesses that close down does impact the city. For sure. So just because there's no sales tax doesn't have any input on this store's closing, the store's not closing. You know, it's not going to impact things. All of these closures impact the business infrastructure a lot. Any business, when it closes down, it stops that revenue stream, whether it's licensing fees, whether it's the B&O tax, whether it's an excise tax, whether it's whatever it is. Businesses close down, cities close down. That's just how it goes. I'm appalled. I'm incredibly angry. And underneath that, I'm very sad, said longtime customer E. Michi. I've shopped here for 30 years. Well, then you've probably seen the city of Portland change quite a bit. And you might have also been responsible for a lot of the things that have gone in to making the city what it is now, which some might say is not progress in the right direction. How about that? Man, we got Walmart's left. REI is left. I think to me, REI was kind of the pinnacle of, oh, okay. Yeah. When an REI can't make it in Portland and they basically cited safety concerns, safety issues, they didn't come out and do this chicken. Oh, we've got corporate revenue issues. We can't seem to make a profit. Well, just call it the way it is. Your stuff is walking out the front door. Just call it the way it is. And if it's safety concerns like the Whole Foods down in San Francisco, it's closing up. And they basically came right out and said, yeah, we've got a lot of safety concerns of, our employees' safety, the customer's safety, food supplier safety, everybody in this chain, because you've got a bunch of whacked out nut jobs on drugs walking around in this Whole Foods environment in San Francisco. When you've got that going on, corporate gets to a point and says, yep, liability, not so much. And so here at the food co-op, they've made that decision. Okay, we're not making money. We're in an area where all kinds of stuff is being stolen. The outlook is not good. Whatever decisions they've made, I'm not saying that those are the reasons, because the only thing that they're telling us here is, financial issues. And that to me is typically, okay, there's a major problem. You've been there 50 years, right? 50 years, you made a go of it. It's not like this is a new business plan that popped up and, hey, this is the new OnlyFans business model. This is what we're doing. It's not like that, right? There's something that happened that over the course of time made it so this business is not profitable. And whether it's the lack of people coming to it because they're afraid, or maybe it's next door to a homeless encampment. And I don't know the absolute details. I just know on a map that this area, it's got some issues, going to have some issues, and you're going to see stores closing down. And if this was a one-off, I'd tell you this is a one-off. This is a weird deal, but it's not, because we've been covering these topics time and time and time again here on News for Reasonable People, right? In the windows of the store, there were multiple notices posted by the co-op's board members, one announcing recent layoffs and financial trouble, and another announcement explaining the current board and general manager have all resigned, prompting the closure on Monday. So there was internal stuff going on. How much all of the five-finger discounted security issues and homelessness came into that deal, it's unknown, but guaranteed it did not help. It does not help, right? Amici says that she'll miss the kind employees like Catherine Megasich, who served as the wellness department manager for over a decade. Through that time, Megasic and Amici say they became good friends. It was amazing customers like Amici here. It was the customers, said Megasic. It was the sense of community, and it was just a special place. Well, now it's a special place where nobody goes, and it says closed on the front door, just like we've seen in store after store after store in Portland, because running a business in Portland with all the stuff that they've got going on is not viable for many entities. It's not viable for Nike. Nike is begging the mayor for, assistance with additional security in the form of police officers. They don't have enough manpower to go around. I was looking at, I'm probably going to do a podcast on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is now the Hollywood Walk of Shame, because you've had 3 shootings, a bunch of homeless people running around, people on drugs. It's just gotten really bad. And so, you've got this iconic thing, the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I always used to hear about that as a kid. And, somebody got a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's so cool. They're such a great actor. They're such a great, whatever it is. So you've got that going on. You got a 50-year-old food co-op, guaranteed. There are customers who've been going there year after year after year. Maybe they go away, they come back. Well, with the environment, the business environment you've got going on in Portland right now, let alone the sociological environment of just letting people camp wherever they want, do whatever drugs they want, steal whatever they want, without much in the way of pushback from either people in consumers in the stores or the store employees. You just can't really push back that much in a city like Portland. There's not much pushback you can do. So businesses have an option, and that is to basically close up or shut up and hang on and try and make it through. And we're seeing more and more of these closures happen just in real time. It's like, okay, that one's gone, that one's gone, that one's gone, that one's gone. And you're going to see more of these close down as conditions get worse. And then we talk about that doom loop. We normally talked about that from the standpoint of the downtown core, because all of its employees, all the businesses that once worked there, are now working remotely, trying to get everybody back into the downtown. It's not going that great. So now you're not going to have all that business revenue to basically fund your downtown. Well, Portland, it's basically the whole town, right? It's the whole city, because they're losing businesses left and right, and they're spending money on all kinds of just ridiculousness, don't have enough cops, trying to budget money for the cops. And everybody after the pandemic is having budget shortfalls. So this is not new. I think San Francisco is looking at $800 million shortfall. I mean, big budget gaps. They're like, all right, we're going to have to fill this with something. The co-op's board said in a posted statement at the store, once a new board is appointed, the store could reopen with new financing under a new business model, sell the property and lease the building back, or sell the property and divide the earnings among co-op members. The customers' employees say the sense of community at Foodfront is and always will be priceless. Well, the things we just described there, I mean, the co-op structure of this business, it's a little wonky. It's different, right? It's owned by the members. It's like REI, another store that just closed down in Portland. As a co-op member, which I am a member of REI, longtime member, I'm an owner of REI. And I don't really blame them when they close down in an environment like Portland, because you've created this sense of lawlessness where it's just, we decriminalize drugs, go for it. Narcan, we're going to have that everywhere. So that if you overdose on fentanyl, you're all good. Shoplifting, don't worry about that. That's a misdemeanor. If you get arrested, hey, come steal in our city, because we don't have enough police power to really cover safety concerns in the city at all. Don't have that. So why wouldn't you have criminal activity just going crazy, just going ham? And that's what you've got. So this co-op, yeah, all right. So you've got some stuff with the whole co-op deal going on, but bottom line is it's been exacerbated. Whatever they had going on has been exacerbated by the conditions that Portland in general has. And that's why so many stores, not just food stores, are failing. So there's a humility about the people who have worked here. It's very refreshing, said Amici. Co-op members tell Fox 12 the next steps are to plan a community meeting this week to try and get input from all the different members in the city to try and decide the future of Food Front, as well as begin the process of choosing a new board. All right, so you got a new board, okay? That doesn't really change the direction of what you've got going on in Portland, the trajectory of things in Portland. So you're going to have a bunch of corporate talk, a bunch of corporate speak. Now we're going to try this. We're going to do this. We're going to make this adjustment. We're going to do this. The bottom line is, till you create some greater safety factors in a city like Portland, you're going to continue to have businesses leave left and right, because why wouldn't they go to a city that didn't defund its police, that didn't decriminalize shoplifting, that didn't decriminalize hard drugs? Why wouldn't you open up a store there? Why wouldn't you continue to run your businesses in those environments and shut the ones down that are not doing well? Well, that's exactly what you've got going on. Big business, especially big corporate like Walmart, is basically going, when Walmart closes down and REI closes down, a bunch of other restaurants, and we've covered the whole gamut of it. You get some Targets closing down, some Walgreens closing down. It's kind of an indicator that maybe not all is well. And what I love about these videos is they'll interview people that are locals, and they just won't admit, they never admit that, hey, yeah, I don't feel safe here. I know the store has been broken into 100 times. I know people are shoplifting like there's no tomorrow out the front door. None of these folks ever want to admit that that's going on right in front of their community. And then they get really upset when that said store closes up its doors and leaves. Yeah, kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how that goes. So whatever the reason that this longtime Northwest Portland co-op closes its doors and angers its customers, no matter what that reason is, all of this other stuff certainly impacts it, because it's not like, okay, so we got these other 20 stores that have just closed. Now we've got this, one longtime Northwest Portland co-op, and you know what? We're not going to steal from that, said all the drug addicts collectively, because they enjoy the food at the Northwest Co-op. They enjoy the experience at the Northwest Co-op. That's not a thing. They could give a crap less. If there's stuff in there to steal, I'm going to steal it. I'm going to go sell it. That's just how the game is being played. And so you take that significant pressure, safety factor, don't have enough, security guards to keep the store safe, everything that goes into that, you put that on top of these other factors. And that's why you've got so many stores that are just not able to make a go of it. And down the road, this will get worse and worse. And that's why you see, like a Detroit where its tax base is just eroded and they don't have one anymore. And they basically can't afford to run the city. And that's where I think Portland is headed right now. And that's why a lot of the big cities, the mayors, are freaking out because they can see the writing on the wall with all these businesses that have closed up. Lack of tax revenue from downtown business, that wreaks havoc on budgets. Because if you think about it, all right, so individuals, in Oregon, you don't have the state sales tax like you do here in Washington. Here in Washington, our state sales tax is almost like 10%. It's a whack. It's a big whack, but we don't have state income tax. Oregon has got that. So, there's some pluses and minuses here, but running a business in Portland right now, very problematic. I mean, your store gets broken into, gets ripped off, it gets ripped off when you're open, just walks out that front door. You've got a business environment out front where people are like sketched out about what's going on, like they are down on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You've got people walking around going, this isn't all that safe. I just don't feel all that safe doing what we're doing here. And that's because it's not safe, because you've allowed this environment to happen. So progressive. I've never really understood that when we say progress. We got some progress here. The only progress I see for Portland as far as the business environment goes is backwards. You've got stores closing, not opening. That's just not very progressive at all, right? So the ideology that so many of these customers, subscribe to, which is all this progressive woke crap. It's coming back to bite them in the rear in the form of, business, no go here. We can't make a profit. So you got all these folks that don't really get that or don't want to get that. They just want to shop at their food co-op and then bitch when it closes. Well, you got to kind of take a look at how you got from here to over here closed through the course of 50 years, through the course of all kinds of business ups and downs. And then in 2023, we need to clear out the board. We're not making it financially. Got all this other stuff going on. Yeah, we might open back up. We might open back up when we get a new board. They're not opening back up. I'd be very shocked. If you guys see down the road, if you guys see a new story, hey, it's opening back up, I will podcast it because that would be positive, for the community. All right, this didn't work out great the first time. After 50 years, we closed, but now we've got things squared away. Here we are. If you see that, let me know because those are the things that I want to cover as well. But you know what? We have not been covering those types of topics because they're not happening, because most stores are going this direction, which is, loved you as a customer for the past 50 years. If we had other stores outside of this area, we would recommend that you shop there. But hey, thanks for the good memories after all these years, but we got to shut her down because this is not working economically at this point in time. All the board members already left. So they had something major going on, right? They had something major going on. And guaranteed it had to do. There's no way that you can sit there and say, well, everything would have been fine with the exception of we got some board members with, personality issues. There's no way. All businesses, you hear any type of survey or whatever, businesses, 95% of them invariably say business structure in Portland in the state of Oregon is not headed in the right direction. And so this store here, food co-op, you're talking about food desert in a lot of these places, right? We're not talking about here in Portland, but in other areas of the country, you've got that because Walmart was like the last one to leave. Last guy out of Seattle, turn out the lights. That was a great ad campaign. It really was. It's what people always talk about, right? Just a couple of real estate guys. They were trying to get their name out there. They did. We're still talking about it. What was that? 1971 or something? I would have been like 2. I was born in November of 68. So basically I was born in 69. So all that early 70s stuff, I wasn't really there for, but I always hear about it. And, the real estate with my dad being in real estate, my family all being in real estate. That was one of those things where, last one out, turn out the lights. And those are the comments that I'm seeing from you guys about Portland. Last one out, turn out the lights. Cause man, we are covering a lot of closures, and these closures invariably happen because of so much progress. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, there's that. All right. I'm going to leave you with that for now. That's it for me. Thanks so much for being here. I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.